We're back!
Hey!
All right, folks. Well, today we're going to be doing another top 10 list. And this was, for me, this was the hardest top 10 list I've ever put together. Because there was so many games. I had a short list of 20 games, and I really struggled to narrow it down to 10. Which didn't matter because we made it a single top 10 list anyway.
Yeah.
We fell to, what do you call that? When everybody, group think, I guess?
I call it Tom does whatever he wants. And...
I call it Tom.
Hey, Tom,
Tom's
I have
games gets preference over everybody else's.
Oh.
No? Okay.
Tom, I have a top 10 list. Okay, I'm going to incorporate that into my list.
All right. Well, today we're talking about cooperative games. We'll get to the list in a second. We're talking about cooperative games, which were not that popular 10 years ago. In fact, I think there was one 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And over the last year, I think exponentially, each year, more games, 20 cooperative games came out in 2012.
Wow.
So that's a lot, and I would say almost that many came out in 2011. There's just a ton that are out there, and they do really well. They do well because if I'm playing with someone new, it's easy to get them into.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely my favorite kind of game to bring a non-gamer into gaming.
Yeah. Because you don't have to, there's not conflict at the very beginning. You're working together for a common goal. Mm-hmm. So there's less tension, I guess you could say.
It's easier to just get everybody going. You know, you can say, okay, we're going to set up, take your turn, I'm going to help you with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we did for our top 10s is we made the list and I assigned point values and then I added the point values together and we made a top 10. But each of us had a few games that did not make the top 10. Actually, I had 4.
And I have 4.
I only had 2 that didn't make the top 10 list.
Oh,
okay. Better than us.
Yes.
So we're going to just give you a quick rundown of games that we think are in the top 10 and why they're great. Mine, I think I have 2 superhero games here. The first one is Sentinels of the Multiverse, which I just really adore. Love the idea of working together with, and I feel like with each character having their own deck, just fantastic way. It's the best superhero thematic game I know of, and it's cooperative. Lots of fun. Then Legendary, which I like almost as much, but has the Marvel Universe, which is a universe I like, even if they ridiculously bring people back from the dead.
Oh, so you actually like Sentinels better than this?
I do. It's barely, but yeah, I do.
Wow.
This is a deck building game. There's not too many cooperative deck building games out there, although I expect to see 20 of them in 2013.
Really?
Well, probably. There's several. Well, the Lord of the Rings was a deck building game.
Well, it's an LCG,
No, it's an
right?
It's confusing. But I like this one. Lots of fun. And then, I'm really surprised this one didn't make the top 10. Of these 3 guys, I'm the one who loves this one the most, and that's Flashpoint Fire Rescue. I like the idea of the firemen going in and rescuing people. It's one of the easiest ones to teach. If I was picking the top 10 cooperative games for families, I think you guys might have voted for it then?
No.
It was in my top 15. It was in the block of 5 that didn't make the cut for 10.
I don't think top 20 maybe for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I just recently replayed it. I had played it a few times and I was not keen on it, and I just recently replayed it, and I'm not a big fan.
One of my main drawbacks is the aesthetic. It just didn't aesthetically appeal to me. It was a very static environment. I thought they could have made it a little bit more pretty. But I mean, as far as the game is concerned, it's a good game and I enjoy it. But aesthetically,
My last one that did make the list was Space Cadets. This one is very new. After playing it yesterday, this one is not the easiest one to bring out to a group of new players because there's so much to teach and go through, but it's very unique, and once you know what you're doing, it can be very fun to play and to watch other people play. Mm-hmm. So those are my 4. What about you, sir?
All right, let me run through mine. I just recently spoke about this, so I'll keep it short. Robinson Crusoe, for me, I think it's a great, excellent thematic co-op. It's on the long side, but if you're looking for something that really throws you into the theme and you're okay with it being a micromanagement kind of game, this is a great co-op game.
Yeah, this was really close to making my list. I really like it.
All right, next I have Onirim. Onirim is a little card game that Z-Man put out several years ago, and this plays 1 or 2 players. That's it. And it's very simple. It's probably the simplest game that was on my list.
Can it be cooperative if it's 1?
I play with, I cooperate with myself.
All games are cooperative is 1.
Yeah, I know.
I help myself.
Exactly.
All right.
But you know what? It does suffer from a leader bashing problem if you play solo. Because you always feel like you're getting told what to do.
You were thinking about that all day, weren't you?
No, I just came up with that one. That's why
okay.
I kind of mumbled it a little bit. I have one later I'm going to drop on you guys.
All right.
Okay, it's a really neat game. It looks awful. The drawings are kind of weird and bizarro, but really cool one-player game. Okay, Witch of Salem. Witch of Salem is a game by, what's his name? Michael Reineck?
Reineck.
He's actually one of my favorite Euro-style game designers, which I don't have a lot of, but he's one of
That's true. He doesn't.
yeah. Almost every single game this guy's put out, I really dig. Starting from Pillars of the Earth onward, you know?
Okay. Do you ignore this rule in this game that you can't share information?
Yes.
Okay, that's the dumbest rule in a cooperative
This is
game
an
ever.
excellent co-op
You remember
game.
that?
Yes.
If you ignore that goofy rule that once you find something out, you can tell other people. When I get to those tiles on the board, you just flip them. Just flip them, leave them. That witch is going to show up and shuffle them all around anyway. You know? So just show it, okay? Great co-op game. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Hanabi. And I have the Hanabi and Ikebana one, which, you know, is 2 games in one, using the same cards. But this is a great little co-op where you play with your hand of cards facing away from you. So everybody has your information, and you have everybody else's, and you have to give clues. You cash in chips to give clues as to what other people are holding, and they try to deduce what it is they're holding, and then you play one, and if you messed up when you played it, and it would not have been the next card, you lose a life token. Do that 3 times, you're out. Really neat, really different. It's co-op meets deduction, kind of. Really cool game.
All right. And Sam.
Okay, well, first game that didn't make my list. Remember, I only had 2.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure. First game that didn't make my list was a game called Hoo-Yah, the Navy SEALs card game, where each player takes the persona of a Navy SEAL going on a mission, and you guys have to work together to try to gain the resources, the intelligence, the munitions, the I already said resources, but all of the things that you need to complete that specific mission. And then once you have garnered all of this stuff, then you move on to the next stuff, and by the end of the game, you have to have enough cards to actually complete wherever the mission was. The game comes with, I think, 4 or 5 preset missions. I'm certainly hoping they come up with an expansion that has more missions in it, because I think that's probably the easiest expansions to
So
make.
is it scenario-based?
Kind of.
Yeah, there's 5 scenarios.
5 scenarios, 5 missions that you have to go on.
Okay.
And you work together. I just really enjoyed it. Had a great time with it. My family loves to play it, and it's one that I can play with my family very easily. It's not difficult to teach at all. So definitely made my list. That's Hoo-Yah, Navy SEALs card game. And then the other one that didn't make my list, that didn't make the list, definitely on my list though, is Conquest of Planet Earth. Basically, it's exactly what it says. Aliens are invading the Earth, and humans are repelling them.
You are the aliens.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, you do take the role of the aliens, and then the American forces. Well, see how I westernized it there, but the human
Ethnocentricity is
the
the
human
word.
forces are trying to repel you. But anyway. It actually comes as where you're supposed to fight for yourself, and the co-op version is a variant, which was dumb, because that's how you're supposed to play this game, in my opinion. This is a co-op game, no brainer. Don't play it any other way. Conquest Planet Earth.
All right, let's get to the list with a capital L.
Dun, 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 dun.
Top 10. Number 10 is Arkham Horror. This is one that used to be a lot higher on my personal list, fallen down briefly, if only because it's harder to pull out when there's 2,000 bits for it now. And that's probably a low exaggeration, that there's 2,000 bits in
Especially
here.
with the expansions thrown in
the
there.
cards.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Arkham Horror, though, kicks the snot out of other games like, let's say, Witch of Salem, with actually having the Cthulhu theme in it, and actually being a fun game rather than just looking at scary pictures and cards.
Wow. Okay. This game did not make my list. It might have been in my top 15. It's too long. This game's way too long.
Okay, I won't argue. It is a long game.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way to make it shorter, but you're talking 3 hours probably.
There is a way to make it shorter. It's called another game called Elder Sign.
which is not that much shorter.
True.
Here's the thing with Elder
Incidentally,
Sign.
Elder Sign didn't make any of our lists.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
I like it, but it's very light.
I like Elder Sign better than this.
Yes, so do I.
Okay, but-
yeah,
Did this make your list?
11.
Okay. I like Elder Sign better, but it's not that much shorter, and the theme really suffers. You know?
Okay, yeah, there's no theme in Elder Sign at all,
Right,
really. You're just
right.
rolling dice.
Yeah, but the complexity in this game and the length and the investment, it's too much.
So you're saying Witch of Salem's a happy medium.
Witch of Salem is like the Euro version of this game, and I love it. It's just the
That
theme.
seems so weird when he says that, though. He says, Euro, I love it.
Yeah, I know.
That's not normally what you say.
I like the theme. I think the mechanics all make sense.
I was laughing about how Witches of Salem and Happy Medium were in the same sentence.
Ah. Ho-ho. All right. Well, anyhow, Call of Cthulhu, Arkham Horror. This is the second edition of the game. Came out from Fantasy Flight, designed by Richard Launius, with a lot of expansions.
It's a very long game, but I would also say it is immersive.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that some of my most memorable gaming experiences have come from this game.
And bad ones, too.
Bad experiences, yes, but memorable, absolutely.
I love that. I love that use of the word memorable. I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
This game is very memorable.
No, it is.
no, look, there's like a 1 out of, I don't know, 3,000 chance that you can get killed by Cthulhu. You know, one-on-one match with Cthulhu.
Right.
That he just shows up. It happened to Sam twice. Back-to-back games.
Going through the same portal.
Wow.
So
It's a sign.
I'm a Cthulhu magnet, I guess.
All right, let's go to number 9. Battlestar Galactica, which I remember we got really excited about when they announced this way back when, because it was one of the earlier cooperative games, and it was based on a license, which had us a little worried. But it was being designed by Corey Kineska, which we knew was a good designer. This one actually didn't make my list, not because I don't like it, I think it's a great game, but because I'm at the point where I feel like it's not technically a cooperative game anymore, that it's more of a team versus team. Humans versus Cylons.
Not from the beginning, so I would still say it's a cooperative game.
I think you're splitting hairs there. I think
Yeah.
that the team of Cylons is really one at most, two people?
Two.
And then out of what? It supports 8 now, I think.
No,
7?
Maybe 7. I know it's 6 usually. I wouldn't.
I think one of the expansions added the possibility of a 7th. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe not. But at least
Feels like there's 20.
2 out of 6. That means you've got 4 people that are playing a cooperative game, and you've got 2, for lack of a better term, traitors. So you've got to call this a co-op game.
Why didn't you mention it on your list?
It didn't make my list partly because of the same thing as Arkham Horror. It's a really long game, but I do like this much better. This might have been like 12, 13 on my list. You know, I do think, I've had great experiences with the game. I think it's thematic, but doesn't bog down in mechanics. It moves along at a nice clip. It has great moments of intrigue. It has excellent, that tension.
Lot of
is there
stress.
Yeah.
Lot of
entire
stress.
time, and you're playing the players. It's not like, I feel like when I play Arkham Horror, I'm playing what card gets flipped next. In this, I'm playing the group, and it makes for a much better experience.
Well, I'm huge on theme, and this thing is absolutely soaked with it. I really enjoyed the theme, and I think all of the mechanics worked well with it. Pegasus expansion was awesome when it came out to have Galactica and Pegasus together, and you could have the characters floating back and forth. That was just a really cool idea. This has always been one of my favorite games, cooperatively speaking. Yeah.
Cooperative. Okay.
So that's what it is.
All right. Police Precinct is number 8, and this made it on the list simply because it was so high on my list. It actually came in at number 2 on my personal list. And maybe that will change as time goes by, but I'm really loving this game right now. I love the idea of being a police officer, even though I would never really want to be one. I like the idea of being a pretend police officer. And I think this game does a good job. This game reminds me a lot of a more complex Flashpoint, which I mentioned earlier. And actually, if you have the problems with the aesthetics of Flashpoint, you're going to have those exact same problems, Sam, with this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do like it, and I think that the theme is pretty strong. It's not a complex game. You're going around trying to solve a murder while stopping thugs and stopping different emergencies that happen and what have you. And the same stuff will happen in different games. But some really funny things can happen. You know, you're in the middle of doing something really important. Someone steals a car, and you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Or you can ignore it, but at your peril. But anyhow,
Let it go. We're dealing with things.
actually, we were trying to escort an important person while stopping a speedy car at the same time and avoiding a traffic jam deliberately, letting an accident. Okay, well, anyhow.
Tasking.
Yes. It is a fun game, though, and I think it's at its most fun with a lot of players because then you add in that trader element, which is something that I know Sam likes a lot. And he hasn't played this yet, I don't believe.
No, I've watched it being played at Board Game Club at school.
His sons like it, so I'm
Yeah.
adding their votes in.
Yeah.
So anyway, Police Precinct.
I haven't played it, so it didn't even make my short list because I only make games up of.
Well, you have played it.
I have played it.
And you played it poorly.
I thought it's somewhere. I mean, it's funny that the game looks like the firefighting game. What's that called? Flashpoint, because to me they feel similar in play.
I won't argue that.
They look similar, but they feel similar. And I think I like this a little bit better. I like the things that can come up. It's more diverse. It's not, oh, look, a fire now in the kitchen. Oh, a fire in the bedroom. This is like, thugs are showing up over here, car burning some, whatever.
Wait, a fire?
I don't think there's anything burning in this game. Never mind.
There was an arsonist.
There you go. Okay, yes. And you got hostages.
That's
you
an
gotta deal
expansion.
with.
You're going to be able to combine the two games.
There you go. I like that. It's a little bit better than that game, in my opinion, but still not even in my top 20, probably.
All right, get it out of here then.
Yes.
I like it though. Police Precinct. Lord of the Rings is the game that really began the cooperative genre, although it stood alone for like 3 years, I think, before anyone made another one.
Well, co-op games used to be a children's genre.
Right. Why can't we be friends?
Right. And then this kind of came along and was like, oh, okay.
Right.
This can be a grown-ups.
You can be older than 9 and enjoy a co-op.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's Lord of the Rings, and this, if I think correctly, this came out really close to the Fellowship of the Ring when that came out. It was really, although it uses all book stuff, there's no movie tie-in here at all. But this one was not on my list. It was on both of yours, though, so you guys go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, fine. This game, I'm pretty sure I had this before my favorite co-op, which we'll talk about later. And I just really thought it was the mechanics I like. The theme is not that immersive. I think the paintings are gorgeous.
Yes.
But
Okay, no one argues that.
you do not feel like you are traveling through the lands, going to dump the ring in, Mount Doom. You do not get that feeling from
I would
the game.
argue that you feel that on the very last time.
Well,
when you're
the
climbing
very-
on Mount Doom, you're like,
Yeah, the very
can
last
we
turn.
make it?
But the game does give you the feeling that those would-be characters might have had, where you're kind of scared to flip that tile. You're worried about that next event triggering. It does keep you on edge, and you do have to look ahead at the events coming up and plan for them, because they'll probably smack you around.
Yeah.
It has a really neat feel. It feels episodic to me because you have the boards that
Different
you play
boards.
through one scenario, then you flip it, you play through that, bring out another board, play through that. I like that a lot, and so I like the feel of the game. I like the mechanics of the game. I'm probably the smallest Lord of the Rings fan in the room, I would imagine. But you know what? The artwork is just gorgeous, and it puts you there. It puts you in that world. I like that about it.
Okay, yeah, I'm there. I'm a little bit different than Z. I thought it was very immersive. As your hobbits grew closer to the Eye of Sauron, They just, to me, maybe it's just I'm a little bit more, I don't know. Well, whatever.
Easily impressed.
Not the word I'm looking for. But okay. Maybe I'm just more in tune to the whole idea of being immersed into a game.
Sorry, sir, you're just not there. What about the expansions? Do you guys like them?
Yeah.
I've only ever played the first one.
Yeah,
the Friends and Foes.
Yeah.
I like that one. That one's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, they're good. Again, they just. My best experience with the game was with the original. I mean, I played it the most that way. I didn't play it much with the expansions. So really, my nostalgia, my remembrance, my like of the game came from the original set. And I thought it was very immersive, as Tom was just saying. As you're climbing up Mordor, and I know that's at the end of the game. It really feels like, are we going to be able to do this? Is the ring bearer going to be able to carry out the task? And I really enjoyed that. And so this is kind of what opened the doors, for me at least, to that co-op.
Yeah, it's just
genre.
a game. It's a game full of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Moments of sacrifice.
Right.
And that is just so neat. That makes it really cooperative.
Okay.
If somebody has to take a hit, it feels like you have that moment where you go, okay, fine, I'll take the hit now. You guys got to back me up.
Yeah.
And there's no traitor, none of that. Everybody really is pulling together, and at some point, you got to be the one to take the hit.
Before this turns into too much of a love fest,
Wow.
Lord of the Rings.
Just because he doesn't like it.
Lord of the Rings. No, it's not that I don't like it. Lord of the Rings, I enjoyed it when it came out, and no one's going to deny that this was groundbreaking and fantastic. But I would say that, not counting the bad cooperative games, because there's some pretty junky ones, but every other cooperative game that has come out and has surpassed it, it is now irrelevant, because this is just a puzzle. All the games that have come out since that are good cooperative games have surpassed this. They have done it better. This is like still riding a horse while everyone else is in a car.
Snob.
Not a snob. I'm just saying. No.
Cult of the New.
No. I had the remote.
Get all the dust off of this.
Okay, well, there's a reason there's dust on this one. This is another one that
Suspect.
these two put on the list that
Must not have been on Tom's list.
No, look, it wasn't on my list. But I think Forbidden Island is a great introductory game. I just didn't think it made the top 10. No, this is a cooperative game for kids.
That adults can enjoy.
Well, they can, but there's... Okay, well, go ahead. You guys put it on. You tell us why it's so good.
Go ahead, Sam.
Because it comes in a tin? Woohoo!
That's a plus.
No, that's a minus for
No,
me.
that's a minus for me, too.
Oh, it's a plus for me. I love. Well, I don't love tins. I like them as long as they're not over the top.
Like overly embossed or whatever.
Okay, shut up.
That?
No,
I don't know what he means.
I love the tin.
Okay.
I love the tin. He doesn't like the.
You can't stack them.
That's awful.
I stack mine fine. It just goes on top of the.
No, when you have like 5 tins, you can't stack them all.
You put them in different places.
Right, and if everyone did tins, it'd be horrible.
Okay, I'm not saying that everybody should do them. I like this one.
Okay, go anyway. We're getting off topic.
Up off me, punk.
Top 10 tin game.
Yes. Look, I'll tell you why this is cool. Because it plays in
10 games.
it plays in half an hour at the most.
Okay.
And people
yes.
have repeatedly told me, let's do it again. And we get 2 or 3 plays in one night. And the next time we come to a game, they're like, yeah, it actually, they want to play it again. I've played this in youth group, played it with my family, played it with adults. It's diverse. It's flexible.
I agree that it's great introductory. I just don't think it's top 10. That's all.
Okay, well, you have the right to be wrong.
Well, I think
okay.
it's okay to have a game on your top 10, which is an introductory game to co-op games.
Well, I do.
You know?
And we haven't got to it yet.
Okay. I have played, sort of like Sam, I've played with very diverse groups, and it goes over well with just about everybody who I've played. Do I want to play it a bunch of times in a row? Is it going to hit the table every weekend for me? No. But there is something to be said for how easy it is to teach the game, for how well it flows, for how simple the card draw and card play is, while still giving everybody a role that they feel unique in.
Right.
It is an excellent cooperative game, just not a complex one.
Are you guys looking forward to the new one that's coming out in a month? Or actually, I think it's just released now.
I am looking forward
It's
to
about getting lost in the desert.
Yes.
Forbidden Desert.
I am looking forward to it. I think it looks really cool.
It's by Game Rights, so look, you're not getting.
It's cheap.
It's
Definitely.
You're not getting epic level content here, but you're getting an affordable game that has legs.
And it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I can't argue.
So you're wrong.
No, I didn't say that.
Give me the remote.
Game I voted for. And one that you did not.
I did not. Sam did. I did not.
Defenders of the Realm is a game that I guess for some caveat I had a hand in pushing this towards development because this is one of the few games I played a prototype of and was just fell in love with.
Which is why it made it the list.
No, that's not. This made the list because this to me I feel very immersed in the theme when I play it, and we say that a lot with a lot of these cooperatives. But I feel like the enemies are marching into the gates, and the one thing I like about this one, I think more than any other cooperative game, each character that you play has a very different feel than the other characters. It's not like, oh, I'm a fireman with a slightly different power, or I can dispatch characters. You have like 3 different things that you can do if you're the barbarian, and if you're the ranger. So you play very differently depending on which one you are. I mean, don't get me wrong, other games have differentiated roles, but I felt this one differentiated them the most, and especially when you buy all the hero expansions, of which there's 2 billion, maybe just 4, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot. The only negative thing is how big and gigantic the game is, and it could be a little overwhelming for people. It's not that complex of a game.
No, it's not at all.
But it can feel complex.
Yeah, it does seem to have it feels to me like it has a lot of moving parts. Not Arkham Horror complex, but
No, Arkham Horror blows all the rest out of the water.
there's certainly plenty of stuff going on in the game. I mean, to me, I like the game, but I liked it a lot better the first time it came out when it was called Pandemic. And
Oh! Is this where you drop the mic and walk away?
and I it doesn't do it for me because I'm not the biggest fantasy fan. What was added on top of what I think very much is very clearly borrowing from that previously mentioned game. What was added on top of that?
Oh, but Forbidden Island was.
That's true, but that's almost like the reverse. It's like, here's something easier. This is like, here's what you had, and here's a bunch of fantasy stuff on top of it. That just doesn't do it for me.
Okay. I thought the fantasy stuff didn't add that much complexity, but added a lot of flavor. Because, yeah, the armies marching was a little like cubes in Pandemic spreading.
A little?
No, there's some pretty major differences. You don't go clear out the cubes. You have to go fight them out. You fight out the creatures.
Well,
and then there's one giant boss. No, but there's one giant boss marching, and that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's not go cure the disease by playing 5 cards. It's by going and killing that nigh impossible to kill boss.
Yeah, and
That has a huge different feel.
You have to do well with it too. I mean, it's not like you can just collect your cards and go fight them. You have to actually go through the motions of defeating.
That's true, but it's kind of like, it feels to me like playing Pandemic, getting the 5 cards you need, and then you go to the research station, plop down your 5 cards, and you roll a die, and if you got a 5 or a 6, you actually did the thing. It's like, no, I already did the work. I'm just cashing it in now.
Right.
You know?
You're lazy. Lazy gamer.
So, not for me.
Defenders of the Realm are number 5. There's another one I didn't put on my list.
This wasn't on your list?
Well, no, here's the deal. I like it. It was a fun game, but no way top 10. No way. No way. It's a good game, but there's just so many better ones. But hey.
Was it on your list?
Yeah.
Oh, it was on my list too.
All right, this is one of the newest cooperative games
So
to show up on the
basically,
list.
if you like fun,
Okay.
We have to tread lightly here because we might be accused of cult of the new here, though.
oh yes,
You know, that's
we
true.
might.
It is a fairly new game.
Hypocrites! All right.
But, Tom's wrong.
No, I'm not saying it's not fun. It is fun. I agree. We can all play the game and have fun. just not top 10.
Okay,
I think
well, where would it fall then for you? Obviously, top 20. Did it make your short list? Short list? Really?
It's in the top 25.
Oh my heave!
I like it because it's simple enough to get everybody into the game quickly. It's punishing enough that you don't feel like you swat away at the game and then you're done with it. I like a co-op game that steps up.
Okay.
And I like the push your luck that this adds that I had not seen any other co-op quite do like this.
Okay, that's
it's a
true. Yeah, it has a
push-your-luck
push
game.
your luck.
It's a push your luck game with cooperative elements.
And it has dice rolling, which is
You know,
neat.
That's what did it for me. It's the fact that you need to decide how close to the line you want to tiptoe.
Yeah. It hit on all the pistons for me. Aesthetically, very
Oh, yeah, that's one of the best.
eye candy all over the place as far as
Yeah.
this game is concerned. The push your luck element was one that we really haven't seen much of in co-op games. Loved that. The whole idea of the board actually shrinking as you continued on through, as the waters rose. That was really cool, I thought. You get some of that in Forbidden Island, but
Right.
here, I don't know, it just seemed to be a lot
There's more
cooler.
meat here.
Yeah,
definitely.
there's more meat here,
Yeah.
absolutely. So being able to, trying to go get all those little special, what do you call them? The special things that you need to save the island. All of these guys
Right, the
here.
parts you have to.
The different
Parts of the
parts
machine, right.
to assemble the machine. I thought that was a cool extra thing that kind of got
Mm-hmm.
added in there. So this, I don't know. I knew it was going to make my list. I just had to figure out where it was going
Me
to
too.
land.
I agree with you there. The only thing I'll tell you the one thing, and you mentioned something along these lines a while ago. The one thing I'm not thrilled about is that the powers that each player gets didn't feel that cool to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
in almost every other co-op that has different powers for different players, and that's most of them these days.
Yeah.
The powers did not feel. You never have that gee whiz, I'm this guy feel. You know what I mean? It's just, oh, this guy breaks that one rule, this guy breaks that other rule.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it didn't feel like enough. But everything you said, I'm right there with you. Really cool co-op game.
All right. Atlanta's Rising.
Tom is wrong again.
That will even Sam out in the cold.
Yep.
But this one is my number one. This is my favorite cooperative game. I don't know how to explain it. I probably played it more than any other cooperative game, and I think my losing ratio is really high, but I have won it. I've won it by the skin of my teeth, and, well, actually, that's the only way I've ever won it. Because it's really a hard game, but I love, the theme of it is these B-movie ghosts. I hate them. I hate these movies because they're freaky and they show, eyeballs and all. But in this game, you're fighting off these monsters, a bunch of monks. You're fighting off these ghosts, and these ghosts keep coming in. And at first you're like, oh, look, we're fighting ghosts off. This is great. And after a while, it's like, oh, they keep coming. And then pretty soon you're like, please stop coming. And there's a few of them which are just
nasty.
the Black Widow, I think. I just want to smack that woman.
Oh, yeah.
In this game, that's a card, dead ghost.
Say that louder next time.
It's a dead ghost.
Okay.
Evil person. Okay.
It's not even corporeal. You can't
I love
slap
you.
her.
Okay.
I really like this game too. This is my number 2 on my list. So really high up there. I've played it tons also. I've lost. Oh, how I lost. You lose. This game just hits you around. I've played with the expansions. There's 2 of them. They're both awesome. I don't know if you've tried both of them, but they're really
I haven't
cool.
played the second one, but the first one, the White Moon one, it adds a whole lot, which it adds a lot of good things. You're like, yeah, we got weapons, we got this. And then it adds so many bad things. You're like, why did we get all this cool stuff?
Yeah, they're both really cool. The second one's very different, though. But the artwork, awesome. I love it. It's funny because when I first played this game, it felt very Euro to me. And it is. Mechanically speaking, it's very mathematical. It's very geometric, very mathematical.
Yeah, but you're rolling dice too, though, so you can't math it
true,
all out.
But it's amazing how this grid of cards and this grid of tiles has so much theme crammed in there. Every tile does something different. and you really feel like, okay, I need to run around and figure this out. I need to jump over here now and appeal to this guy because next turn that ghost is going to smack me. I like it because it's puzzly. And those are my favorite kind of co-ops.
But there's also, I think this also features a lot of cooperativeness in it. You're like, I'm about to die. You need to rescue me. And you're like, fine. And you come over and say that you're bacon.
Yeah, and the powers in this, each character's powers
are critical.
Awesome.
Well, they're critical. If you don't use them, you're going to lose.
Yeah, and they are really cool. They feel different. They are really cool. No matter which one I get, I always feel like, oh, I'm this guy. I'm going to bring it. You know, I like that.
All right, dump on it.
I don't have a whole lot to dump on it. Really, the only reason it didn't make my list, it did make my short list, but the only reason it didn't make my list is because I think the game is just too hard to enjoy it.
Well, you have to be good at it.
It is.
Are you good at
game. How many times have you lost? That's all I'm saying.
That's me dropping the mic. I don't have a mic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you...
See, let me finish, please. Since Z cut me off. As we were talking about Atlantis Rising, we talked about how it was difficult, but not too difficult. It was easier, but not too easy. It was on the cusp of leaning either way, and that's what kept bringing you back.
Right.
This one just went, see you next time. And I didn't have fun doing that. I just didn't enjoy it. Aesthetically, it's a beautiful game. It has great artwork. I just didn't enjoy it as well as others have, I guess.
If you agree with Sam in this respect, then don't play a game called Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
Because that will beat you up and then light your corpse on fire when you're done.
That game. Once you open the box, it's like you take the lid off of it, you know, and you're like, oh, look at it. Oh, put the lid back on it. You know.
And Robinson Crusoe's not that far behind either.
Yeah.
Robinson Crusoe's pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right.
So
2 more games. The last 2 games made all 3 of our lists.
Yes.
And that is, the first one is Shadows over Camelot. Shadows over Camelot is the first, I think, you know, how, when you guys talk about Lord of the Rings brought cooperative games, it was the first one. I think Shadows brought cooperative games where people said, whoa, these are amazing. But that little trader element is so great. I was reading on the internet, a few people were reading some thread somewhere, and they were talking about how they never play this with the trader. And I'm thinking, how can you not play this with the trader? The trader totally takes this game and just makes it for me. I mean the possibility of a trader.
Right. And I think that's what's really cool about it. It's because Battlestar Galactica has a trader. You know there is one in there. This game might have a traitor, but no one trusts anybody. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool.
That's true.
Because at the end of the game, when the game's fine, you're like, oh, we made it. Okay, we're a traitor? Nobody was a traitor. Right. But the whole game, you're thinking, that was shady. Oh, you're going where? No, don't go over there. Come back. That was, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah.
The mechanics for me, I'm actually not a huge fan. It's poker-ish, you know. True. And I'm not. That's one thing I'm not like crazy about. But the theme, amazing. Artwork, forget about it. This artwork is stellar.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Of mini games-ish kind of feel. Where, okay, I need to run over here and deal with this. And, pressure's on the dragon over there, so never mind, let's run over there. Yeah. You know, I really like that feel of it. But yeah, the trader, forget it. You gotta have the possibility, like you said, of a trader. This was
your number 1, right?
Absolutely, my number 1. And the reason it's my number 1 is because it's got meat to it, but it also feels like an introductory game.
This is one of the best ones to teach new people.
I can bring this out, and you lay out the table, and they're like, holy crud, look at all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, settle down. This is how you play the game. And I explain the basic nuances. This is what we have to do to win. Now, this is how you do it. and it's very simple. When I lived in California, I taught this to a family, and they were like, "Wow, where can we get this?"
Yeah.
It was an awesome game, and that's one of the reasons that it made my absolute list. I enjoy playing this game. The Shadows over Camelot, one of my favorite, the Arthurian legends. That's one of my favorite genres to have pasted on any game. So it really, that kind of knocked it out of the park for me. But all of the other stuff just really, I can't say enough good about it. I mean, the minigame aspect, it really felt like you were the knights going out and trying to fight off the Saxons, fight off the Picts, and do all of this.
There's almost no game that has that feeling of I can do one thing, but I need to do 12. Quite like this game. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, okay, there's too much. I need to be at 3 places right now.
Exactly.
And I have to be at 1.
And everyone's telling you that too, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You went to that one?
Right.
You didn't need to go there.
There you go. And yeah, absolutely. I really like, I don't think this gets mentioned a lot, and a lot of games don't have this, but the fact that this game has drop in, drop out ability. You can start playing this game, and if somebody shows up later, they can start playing.
That's true.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than the card game, which is the same system.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. Because you can start going. You got somebody coming late, whatever, get going.
Right.
When they show up, deal them a card, deal them a power, and they play when they're up.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing about this one is when Sam and I used to do the podcast, we talked about how we had a list of cannot play Shadows over Camelot with us people. But that was all in good fun, really, because I get a kick out of playing this with selfish people. Because you have to take hit points. You have to do things that don't necessarily help you out, and it's just...
It goes against every fiber of their being.
And so they don't do it, and then we instantly are like, traitor! Yeah. And then at the end of the game, you're like, why did you act like a traitor? You are a traitor. And that just cracks me up. So I made a list of people who were not allowed to play the game. Anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Let's go to the number 1 game. Surprise!
Oh, this? Yeah, I think I've played this.
Okay, this is. Oh no, Z is looking at this right now like, what is this? Because he has the brand new 2nd edition of Pandemic.
Which I just had, and I should have brought the show, but I didn't.
But if you had done that, then we would have started pulling this stuff up. Like, do you have little plastic virus tokens? I think not. Yeah. Okay.
Like I was saying earlier.
No, not a snot. That's cool. Okay. Pandemic.
We have to do the vow now.
Oh, I know, right?
Pandemic has only one negative problem I have with it, and that's that the box is too small. And also the fact that I think the game is a good game, but the expansion brought it in the top 10. Without that expansion, I don't know that it would have made my top 10. It might have. But that expansion really helps it out on the brink. Because it added a whole lot more roles to the game, and I don't care about the traitor, but that the extra diseases, the purple, just those little variants you can throw in, add a lot of things, because a lot of people said in Pandemic, they said after they played 20, 30 games, which in my opinion is plenty of games to get your money's worth. Anytime someone says, well, after 30 games, you got 30 games for $25. But anyhow, after 30 games, people were treating it like a puzzle. But when you throw in all those extra rolls and different diseases and mutated diseases and a purple disease, that puzzle's just blown away, I think.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, quote unquote, treating it like a puzzle.
Well, you already said you like puzzle games.
Yeah, but I think that's fine. It's not, match 2.
This is his favorite, by the way, his number 1.
Yeah, this is my number 1. It's, people say, oh, it's a puzzle and turn up their noses at that. It's not like flip 2 cards, do they match? It's a heady puzzle. It's a puzzle with a lot of moving parts.
You've got to figure it out, right?
Yeah, and in almost every single game I've played, there's that moment like 10 cards from the bottom of the deck. The deck's about to run out, where everybody stops and we just go, okay, we need to figure this out. You need to run over here because I'm gonna play this card. Oh, no, wait. No, I'm gonna fly you here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that
usually for me, it's like, oh, we're about to die, so let's just see what happens.
Again, be good. Be good at games. Anyway,
That's true. I'm not good at games.
Maybe he's the snob.
No, he's the jerk.
Endemic. The best game. Yeah, for me, this is just a home run through and through. And I think the expansion definitely adds a ton. The expansion's one of the
It was
best.
on your list too.
Yeah, it was on my list.
But I think the original game stands on its own. It's an awesome game.
His turn.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Hit it.
Let him speak it, man. That's his go-to.
That's my baby.
That's no problem. To be fair, first of all, I want to go back to this whole idea of making a puzzle out of it, and I think many people do that to different games, and the reason they see that they think it's a negative thing. For example, when you play Axis and Allies and you're the Russians, there's a certain way that you should play the game. If you don't play the game as the Russians, you're not going to win. So they've puzzled it out. There's a certain thing that you have to do every turn, and if you don't do that, you're not going to do well.
Right.
I think that's what they're talking about making it a puzzle. I don't think they're talking about the fact of how are we going to figure out how to beat the game. So I don't want to get too down on the whole idea of
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying people said that.
right. I understand that, but the idea here is that this is a puzzle, but it's not that kind of making it a puzzle.
Sure.
That other people are talking about. Now, after 30 plays, people think that they have this. I mean, even with Shadows, Tom and I had. There was a point where we were like, we've got that game. We've got it figured out. We know what we need to do. All this kind of stuff.
That we
next
got
4 or 5
blown away.
every single time. You know what I'm saying? So games will do that to you. They'll turn on you. It's almost like they have an intelligence of their own. But with Pandemic, it's one again that I can pull out with my family. It's got a vanilla theme to it. It's not going to offend anybody, so to speak. To where if you, I mean,
I'm opposed to wiping out diseases. I think
I'm not
diseases
trying to,
should win.
I'm not trying to over sensitize anything here, but I mean,
Well, when you say vanilla, it makes me think that it's
no, I don't mean it in a bad sense.
right.
Right. I'm
think
just
it's a
saying that
great theme.
it's a non-offensive theme.
Right.
You can pull it out and not have to worry about offending anybody
Okay,
with a theme.
yes.
Whereas in some games, you have to take that into consideration.
True.
So that's a huge plus for it. It's a very easy game to play. It's not difficult. And
it's easy to find.
Its levels of difficulty to where you can start off
Yep,
easy.
yep.
Once you've got that kind of under, you can move on to the next level, or you can start off with the hard and
after a while, you should be able to beat the opening game.
right.
Like you said, you feel like Ghost Stories just smacks you around, and that's on what they call initiation. I think
Yeah.
initiation level. I've never ever played anything other than that.
That's true. They're like,
Like,
the rules.
this and this and hell.
If this gets
hell
too
level. Seriously? Hell? I want to play a game. Yeah, the initiation's plenty hard.
All right. Anyway, okay.
Is this the one you were saying you thought was the great introductory one?
Yeah, see, I understand that Forbidden Island is useful to teach new people, but I can teach them Pandemic just as easily. Okay,
Like,
not just as easily. Yes, you all make Coke. But I feel like for most people, it's not that difficult to teach. It's very easy to run across. Although I would argue that Flashpoint's easier, but
My
Well,
daughter,
you know.
my daughter might have trouble understanding this, but she would not have trouble understanding Forbidden Island.
All right.
So Forbidden Island has a little bit more of a diversity. To it.
hey, what was that thing you said you were going to drop on us over the show? I didn't remember.
I think it was the Pandemic statement. He had a few.
Oh, it was that
games ago.
goofy line about
Defenders of the Realm.
Defenders of the Realms. I liked it the first time.
You
better
say
than
that
the
every
small
time we talk about Defenders of the Realm.
yeah.
Failure.
You got to come to our gaming group. Okay, well, folks, those are our top 10. I think cooperative games. Even though we managed to talk about probably 25 different games.
It's good. It's good. It's a good thing.
And as you can tell, we're totally not cooperative at all in this. But we had a couple great games in there. Hopefully you enjoy them. We'll see you in our next top 10 list.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.